Well, good afternoon. Most people who know me as Kristin Werner, a wife, a mother of two, and a small business entrepreneur. But my students know me as Miss Kristin, or Miss K, because I'm also a dance educator, a job I'm really passionate about, and you'll soon see why. My students enjoy performing at a variety of venues, from local events and competitions, to competing for Team Canada on the world stage, to performing for you today to help me demonstrate my thoughts. Kind of like slides, only more alive. But first, I'd like to take a brief moment to help the non-dancers in the room understand what us dance educators do technically. I'd like to ask you to all raise your right hand in the air just for a second and hold it there, and then take a look around the room and see all the different ways there are to do that. Just take a look around. Yeah, interesting, right? Okay, you can put it down. It's my job as a dance teacher to make sure that my students move each body part the same way at the same time with technical proficiency, promoting safety for the body, all while telling a story, creating a mood, and, well, dancing, kind of like this.
5, 6, 7.
Ta-da! Thank you, guys. As with teaching many things in life, I feel that there's more to my job than just teaching the technical elements. And I'd like to take you several years back to a time where I felt like this other part of my job was really missing something. And I couldn't just quite pin down what it was. But you know that blah feeling that you can get in your classroom or in a meeting, interview, even out on a first date? Well, I had it in my classes at the studio. And at the same time, I was feeling this pressure to teach to the test in a world of international championship-style competitions, standardized examinations, elite scholarships, and the like. And I would give my students helpful criticism and critiques to help them to avoid making mistakes in all of these performances. Now, that sounds helpful, right? Well, it wasn't. You see, I couldn't feel the passion for learning in my classroom. All I could feel was this sort of fear of failure, and it was getting in the way of any real learning. So I began to look in my industry for other ways to motivate my dancers. But what I came across all too often was this suit of armor approach, in which dancers are coached about the harsh realities of the professional dance world, and that they need to be tough, and we need to make them tough, or they won't make the grade, pass the test, or meet the mark. I began to witness and hear stories of negative labeling and posturing and threats used to motivate in a tell-them-like-it-is approach. But what I found all too often was that what these educators thought was helping our children seemed to cross the line into bullying, the very thing we're trying to prevent in our schools today. This was not the answer I was looking for to motivate my students. So I realized I had to ask a bigger question. What do these students need to succeed in life after dance? Chances are, if it helped them to succeed then, it would help them to succeed in dance as well. I began to look at my own children for some inspiration. And what I came to realize was that they were always happy when they felt truly loved. And we all want to be happy, right? Yeah. So, as I looked at my kids, I really came to see that it was really, really simple, and it was really clear. A heart-centered approach to competitive dance. It became all too important to me, and I am now ravenous with its potential and what it can do for my students. Today, I'd like to discuss 3 essential class components that work together to create this type of environment for my dancers and what it has done for them. I begin each day with the question, what can I do to be as positive and productive as possible? First, I need to lay a foundation that supports my ideals. My first essential class component is to connect with my students, because if I don't know what they care about and they don't know what I care about, we have no real basis for understanding one another. Connecting heart to heart is important to me. I use the following methods to connect with my students at various age ranges. When I teach a class of 3-year-olds, and this is before they get into competitive dance, by the way, yes, they're going to be short now for me. I don't start the class with a song or a warm-up. The first thing I do is I have my dancers stand on their very own special spot. And my assistants and I take a brief but very important moment to get eye level with them and to tell them something special that we see in them that day. It might be that we notice they're really proud of a new hair bow, or that they've got an extra big smile today, or, I haven't seen you all week and I just can't wait to see what you're going to show me today. All of it is 100% true, and it tells these young dancers that in that moment that we truly see them. As dancers get older, I love to use dance journals. So aside from writing exercises and diagrams and things about dance, I like to give the students something creative to write about themselves. So a topic might be, write a letter to yourself at age 25 about how your competition went yesterday. Or let's write a letter to a body part that has worked really hard for us today, a thank you letter to our quadriceps. All of these exercises, they help the students to develop their own point of view and also the confidence to express that point of view. Improvisation is another way that I connect with my dancers, this time through movement. I give the dancers a set of exercises with parameters in which they can explore their creativity. I strongly encourage all choices. I love to see the students light up with their own ideas, and it's the one time a week that they're not choreographed, and they get to choose. These dancers are doing an improv exercise right now. So connecting with my dancers creates an atmosphere of safety and trust, and my dancers are no longer distracted by an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty. My next essential class component lies in the how-to part of my instructional classes. Learning new material is naturally daunting for young dancers, and so communication that is both inspired and inspiring is essential here. I want my dancers to know that it is they themselves that have inspired me to say what I'm about to say when I say that they are ready for something new. It's like this. Young dancers cannot wait for the day that they learn turns in second, which are the turns that my seniors demonstrated earlier. And so, I don't know, they just feel like they're so super cool and they get all excited, but they're really difficult and they're intricate and it takes time, and so I need to prepare them for this. So instead of saying something like, okay, dancers, today we're going to learn turns in second. Get ready to work. I might be more inspired to say something like, guys, you've worked really hard on nailing your double pirouette, so I know that you're now ready to begin the long and detailed process of dun dun dun, turns in second. Yeah, and I actually talk like that in class, I know. So I find option A is a little disheartening for the dancers, while option B seems to empower them. I want to be clear that every word that I choose is 100% true. I never give my students lip service. They need to trust me. And I keep the bar reachable but high because that way they know that I believe in them. So I've created this atmosphere of connecting with my dancers so they feel safe and ready to learn, and they know that they themselves are inspiring these lessons. So I'm ready to move on to my third essential class component, nourishment. So I had this epiphany when I was watering my garden as an aspiring gardener who's not quitting her day job anytime soon. Here's my garden. Okay. And I was watering the plants and I was making sure they were properly spaced in the sunlight and all those things that you need to grow a vegetable garden, which I had no idea how to do. And so I spent all this time growing these vegetables. And I realized that there was no room for any weeds beneath them because I spent so much time nourishing and growing them. But if I flipped this around and pulled all the weeds out, I would have no weeds, but I would also have no vegetables. Very sad. So I took this to my classroom, and it goes like this. Celebration is nourishment for the dancer, and it is essential for their growth. So when a dancer successfully completes a new task, or a new step, I like to celebrate with the class. And for my senior dancers, it often comes in the form of out loud validation of their efforts. Great trust and teamwork, that was really good. And for younger dancers, they might need more of a visual, so you get those stickers on a chart, or take their snapshots and make a goal board, all kinds of things to help inspire them and see what their hard work has produced. So, I kind of had it. I had this class full of eager students ready to learn. I felt the passion in my classroom, except I almost had it. You see, students aside, I had to realize that I was in this with my students. We were on this journey together. And if I didn't follow these 3 essential class components myself, there's no way I could hold this all together. So I feel that we as educators need to remember that we're in there with our students. So back to the beginning. Are my students passing those tests? The competitions and scholarships and things? Sure. But now I'm looking to this bigger test because my dancers need to succeed in life after dance. My students do get accepted into some of the province's leading performing arts and dance education programs, but they're also looking to careers in office management, in teaching, in mechatronics, biomedical science, chiropractics, to name a few. And while I certainly can't take credit for their successes, I'd like to feel that I have contributed positively to their future with a childhood that includes a heart-centered approach to dance education. So I'd like to invite anybody who is a coach or a teacher in a similar capacity to my own, that if you haven't joined me on this heart-centered approach to teaching, and this is just the beginning, that I invite you to join me on this journey because I love to go to work every day, and my students are so inspiring, and it's just opened up just so many doors within the studio itself. So in conclusion, as with many things in life, I feel that dance can better express what my words are trying to say. So I'd like to invite my dancers back out on stage to perform a piece that I choreographed for this season. And it's about the feeling you get when you open your heart, the feeling you get when you dance.
First, when there's nothing but a slow glowing dream that your fear seems to hide deep inside your mind. All alone I have cried silent tears full of pride.